Hello everyone, and welcome to the PPL Division 2 Week 2 Power Rankings. This time I'm thankfully not alone. I have with me the amazing Buraki XY. Hi!
Hello everyone!
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, how are you?
I'm really well too. Are you looking forward to this Power Rankings?
Yes, of course I am.
Nice, so shall we get started right away?
Shall we?
We shall. Okay. As you guys see on your screen, we have the spots from 12 to 8 right now, and on my 12th spot I have the one and only Juan. And you have him there as well.
I do indeed.
Yeah, you do indeed. And
You want me to take this one?
yeah, probably. Yeah, you shall do that.
Okay, so if you guys have not already, you should go and check out Juan's video from last week because he can explain the situation a whole heck of a lot better than I can. Basically, he did start to battle Troy, but unfortunately he had to forfeit the match, which means that he took a 0-6 loss this week. But he did have his reasons for it, and I'm sure that everybody in the PPL, as well as me, all we want is that for Juan to be okay. So I don't think we need to talk too much about why Juan is at 12th. Just he didn't particularly battle this week, and yeah, he had his reasons, and I think they were valid reasons. And in a league format, forfeited isn't always the greatest thing to do, and it should always be a last resort. But I think in this case, it certainly was a last resort. And yeah, I hope that Juan can come back next week, stronger and better. And I have every faith in him and his ability to pick up some wins.
Definitely. Yeah, he's gonna definitely do better. He has a powerful draft. He just has to learn how to use it properly, and then he's gonna wreck house. Is he not?
Wreck house.
Wreck shop, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I feel like he just needs to get into it. You know, he's done a lot of battling in like doubles leagues and stuff, and he needs to get his head into the singles game, 6v6. But I'm sure that once he gets into it and into his stride, then yeah, looking at his draft and everything, then I definitely can see him picking up some wins.
Definitely. Okay, we shall move on to our 11th spot, where we both agree. I think we both have LacenMC there.
Yep.
And once again, I don't know what's up, guys. I seriously don't know what's up. Why is he not uploading his battles? Seriously, we cannot judge what we can't see. Like, of course we know we have the perspective of his opponent, but to judge properly we have to see his match. So we can't judge, we only know that he lost, and that's why, at least it's my reason why he's in the 11th spot. What about you, Beck?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. It's very difficult to, you know, if you're watching battles, and there are other battles that we've watched where you can see things that you think, it's a bit kooky, but then you can hear the person's explanation, or you can see why they chose to do that in their team builder, and you can kind of understand what's going on. But without being able to see any of Lacen's videos, it's really difficult to get his perspective on the battles and on his decisions and on the teams that he's bringing and things like that. And there have been some things over the last 2 weeks that have definitely made me sort of scratch my head and think, I'm not too sure about that.
Definitely, same here. There were some plays on his behalf that were really questionable, and we really need further explanation for those. And if he doesn't upload next week, it's just always gonna be like, oh, we cannot judge, and that's also boring for us to do. So please, Lacen, get on that, or get somebody else to edit and record it for you. I don't even bloody know. Just do something.
Yeah, I mean, because like I'm really enjoying watching people's kind of preparation and their thoughts behind everything. That's kind of my big thing about leagues, is that I really like to see what the people are doing and why. And even if it's not necessarily the best thing in the world, it's that makes it understandable. So he's lost twice as well. So it seems fitting that if we can't find an explanation to kind of excuse some of those things, then he's just going to have to be in whatever it is, 11th place.
Yeah, agreed.
Thanks.
Alright, without further ado, we shall move on to the 10th spot, which I do have Chaos in the Sky. and I think Beck can tell you guys more about that, because I little missed out on that battle. Whoops.
Yeah, I've got Chaos at. I should have written numbers down by the side of my list because I'm going to keep forgetting. Let's see, what is it? 10.
Just look at Travistey's chat. That's what I'm doing. On Skype, you know.
Oh yeah, that would be a good idea.
That would
anyway,
be a nice
I've got it written
idea.
down. Oh. Anyway, so I've got Chaos and the Boston Braylooms down here as well. I mean, again, he's now sitting 0-2 in the league, having lost 2 games, and a lot of this game came down to a point in the match where he wasn't. Well, it seemed that he'd lost count of reflect turns and light screen turns, and he missed the opportunity to get Gardevoir back in to set them up again, and that. I think it did probably have an impact on the latter part of the game. So yeah, that
honestly.
But the game momentum shifted at that point. He then got crit Shadow Sneaked on the Gardevoir when he did bring it in to set up screens, and whether or not the crit mattered, possibly. And then he had. The Garchomp came in, Dragon Clawed on the Rotom Wash and again got a crit. That one perhaps a little bit more questionable as to whether it mattered. But if the screens had been up, then maybe those Mons had been able to take those a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And and at the end, he had the choice as to whether to... His Donphan was banded, and he had the choice as to whether to... As to what move to go for. He went for Knockoff when he could have... potentially there was the Garchomp there and could have done some damage with Ice Shard a little bit more, maybe... And it had the priority, so who knows?
Who knows about that? But just one thing I've written down is, I don't know, you said he lost track of his reflect and light screen turns, and as much as what I saw, the battle happened on Showdown, and there's no reason for him, there's no excuse, there's no apology for that. Oh, I missed out, I miscounted light screen and reflect. Dudes, it literally says it on the Showdown, on the battle screen. You have 2 turns left of reflect, you have 3 turns left of light screen. It's all noted there. You just have to pay attention. Just work on that. You have to pay attention to everything that's happening, and you don't have to pay much attention if it's written on the freaking battle itself. You just have to look at it. So yeah, definitely work on that. What the hell?
I did really like the fact that he had Healing Wish on some of his Mons. He had a Healing Wish on Shaman, which was really nice, and managed to get that passed back into Victini, so Victini was back up at a much better health. But in the end,
it didn't quite matter, yeah.
There's definitely potential there. I liked a lot of his sets and stuff that he'd put together. He'd put a lot of thought into it. There was a lot of calking going on. I think it came down to 1 or 2 crits and then a little bit of a miscalculation on it was either the light screen or the reflect, and in the end, who was his opponent again?
Carter
just took advantage of it, I think. Really,
definitely. So that's all I have to say about Chaos, and you probably too. And we shall move on to Carter, to my 9th spot, which is Carter, his opponent. Who do you have on 9th spot?
I have RubyMarrow.
Yeah, we kind of disagree on that, so I'm just gonna run over Carter real quick, why I have put him in the 9th spot. I mean, as I said, I kind of missed out on that battle, but from what I saw shortly, he played a solid game. He worked around the screens. Of course, he got some lucky crits that helped him out prevent further screens, but besides that, he definitely knew how to play around those screens, and he did a great job by doing that. He took advantage of the misplays from Chaos and succeeded. Honestly, that's all he did in the end. I mean, I think Chaos got an early advantage, but Carter definitely came back from that. But I still disagreed with some of his plays. That's why he's ranked rather low compared to other people who lost battles. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Carter. Not too much, honestly, I'm sorry. So, let's move on to your 9th spot, which is RubyMarrow.
Yes, indeed. I guess we're getting into the point in the table now, I guess, where there's lots of people sitting on 1 and 1. So, there's not like a huge, massive difference between them. There's something slightly, I don't really like his draft too much. And clearly he didn't like his draft too much because come the transfer window...
Oh, God.
There was the sweeping of the broom and lots of Mons leaving. And, I just felt that during his team preparation video, he was talking an awful lot about Crobat and Jirachi and a tiny bit about Sandslash, but he didn't really mention anything else. And I just... something just doesn't sit particularly well with me. He didn't play awfully, but then, he's got Regigigas that came in, he let it get poisoned, and then takes gold damage before switching it out because he stayed in on the Milotic. Mm-hmm. And then it comes back in again and it kind of just got destroyed.
Yeah, dies.
Yeah, and it didn't particularly do an awful lot. And again, Beedrill kind of didn't do a whole lot.
Didn't do anything. What the
heck? and then Talonflame was really good and banded and bam bam bam. But then he said in his team preview team builder thing that he was keeping Tailwind on because at the end of the match it might matter, speed might matter, and then he had an opportunity to take it out and kind of preserve it for later on in the game, and he didn't. He just let it kind of go down as well. When potentially, he could have used that, brought it in, set up a Tailwind, and maybe that might have helped a little bit, possibly. Kind of quite close to the end of the game, he brought his Keldeo in and subbed against the Sandslash, which had hardly any HP left. And I was just thinking, well, if you go for the Hydro Pump and it hits, you've still got more HP left to go on with the rest of the battle.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
So the battle kind of unraveled a little bit towards the end, and I think with the changes that he's made in the transfer window, that he's got a bit of a team that synergizes a little bit better, maybe, and has got potential there to then move on and take some more wins. But for me, it just felt something just felt a little bit off in the match.
Agreed, Beck. I'm gonna talk about Ruby in my 8th spot. I think you said pretty much everything you had to say about Ruby, so let's move on to the 8th spot. And as I said, I have Ruby there, and I have written down some things. Some things I agreed with, some things I did not agree with at all. First of all, Ruby, props for using Regigigas. Freaking learn how to say his name. I mean Beck, not you, Ruby. Props for using Regigigas, but I know Regigigas, because of slow start, it's more of a wall the first 5 turns, but it was relatively bad played. Like, it didn't do shit in this battle. He didn't went for, he brought it in a Milotic and it just died. Like, it didn't do anything, and the Dizzy Punch was extremely questionable. There are so many better options. Of course, you want what you want to achieve with Regigigas are hacks. You want to be able to survive 5 turns and then get rid of the slow start and then just wreck shop. But that kind of failed miserably. So also something else, not regarding Regigigas, but regarding his Latios. Looking at Kelly's team, he definitely should have brought EQ. Like, as we all know, Latios gets EQ, it gets Dragon Dance, so he could have very well run a mixed set, because the moveset he had on Latios was completely walled by Magneton as well as Jirachi. Magneton and Jirachi were always a safe switch into his set, and you just cannot allow that. You cannot allow your monster to be completely walled. And Magneton, even in a Violite Magneton, would have been 2-hit KO'd, if not even O-code by an Earthquake. And Jirachi was scarfed, but it could not have switched in safely into an EQ from Eladio. So I did not understand that whatsoever. And
that's a really good point.
Yeah, definitely prepare better. Just those little things you have to keep those things in mind, like Psyshock, especially Psyshock, would not do anything to or he had Psychic, would not do anything to Magneton, not do anything to Jirachi, as well as Draco. I mean, there were some better options you had, and you didn't go for it, but yeah, that's definitely something. And he also said in the battle he did not expect Kelly to bring Magneton. You still have to prepare for it. Even though you are not expecting it, because...
Absolutely, and we'll maybe talk a little bit more about that kind of thing later on.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Also, something else, he lost his win condition. Late game, his win condition definitely was his Talonflame, his Choice Banded Talonflame.
Yep.
And he went for a Brave Bird on Sandslash. The first Brave Bird did approximately half damage, but after leftovers, the Sandslash was back to over half, so the next Brave Bird would not have been a 2-hit KO. So questionable why Ruby went for another Brave Bird instead of switching out, preserving the Talonflame and then going for a Tailwind, because Tailwind would have definitely helped him, possibly even won him the game, possibly. But going for Brave Bird on Sandslash twice, even if it was a roll, you cannot afford to take such a risk with your win condition. In my opinion, that was just a massive misplay. Honestly, that was a massive misplay, and
yeah, I totally agree with you. He should have tried to preserve his Talonflame for sure.
Definitely. Also, at one point he should have sacked Jolteon. Yeah. He should have sacked Jolteon then brought in his Keldeo, killed the Sandslash instead of going for sub. He should have let Jolteon go down, bring back in Sandslash, take out the Sandslash, and sack Keldeo to the next Pokemon Kelly would have brought in, being possibly the Jirachi, and then clean up with Talonflame. Or just he had so many chances to win, like as I said, Tailwind, or just make some switches, sacking off Pokemon, even if that means that your record is going to be lower. But you had ways to win, Ruby. You definitely had ways to win. You just didn't see the ways. You didn't go for them, and that's definitely something you have to keep in mind. You have to consider things. Maybe they're working out, maybe they're not. If they don't work out, bad luck, I guess. But if you have certain win conditions, you have to acknowledge them. Is that a word? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it is.
You have to acknowledge them and just try to create a plan around them. So
maybe looking a little bit further ahead during the match.
Definitely.
And thinking about what pieces you need to have on the board at the end in order to secure that victory is definitely something that could really potentially help in future.
And that's what Kelly did, and that's why he won.
Yes,
but I'm
absolutely.
going to that later. Definitely more depth into that later on. But that's my number 9 spot, I think it is. No, my number 8 spot, I'm sorry. Little confusion right there, but that's my number 8 spot. That's all I have to say about Ruby. Kind of a lot, honestly.
Yeah, kind of a lot.
But what is your number 8 spot?
My number 8 spot is the amazing Chi.
Charlie.
Is it not?
Is it?
The new Crystal United.
Oh, nice. That's another thing you could say.
Thanks. I put him at my number 8 spot because he definitely improved this week. There was definite improvement, and I think he could do really, really well. I really like the way that he prepares. He puts a lot of thought into it. He thinks about calking and all of that kind of stuff. I really liked his team building, and he played pretty well. There were a few kind of moments that has led me to put him at number 8, and I don't know if this is actually, he would agree with me, but I feel like the last kind of 2 weeks, when he's in battle, he thinks about everything. He's going over it and over it and over it and over it and over it. And sometimes too much. And it kind of gets in the way a little bit. He was a bit better this week, definitely. But he spent a lot of time thinking about the Sylveon because it was slightly oddly EV'd, but he spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. And then he missed that Swallow was Toxicorp when it came in, because Toxicorp Guts is a thing.
Definitely.
And he spent a lot of time thinking, well, can I do this? It might be Scarfed. And if he'd have just kind of maybe slowed down and took that note and noticed, then he would have been a bit more confident. It didn't, those kind of things didn't affect the fact that he won this week. And I was impressed by the way that he did play. I just want to see him kind of just chill a little bit and maybe make a few notes while he's battling and kind of have the same preparation in and kind of clarity of mind while he's battling as he does when he's building his teams, because I think if he can do that, and he's definitely learning and improving, he could be something, I think.
Definitely. Just if taking notes definitely prevents overthinking, and that's what he has to do. Like when I battled in the TBU, I always had a piece of paper next to me and wrote things down. Like that's just something you have to do in such important matches. And that's just a small little advice from my side, from the guy who's finished second.
Oh, come on. I was waiting for you to fit that in. I mean, generally I was quite pleased. He made some good middle ground plays, so not being too risky, but taking that little bit of a risk when he was expecting switches, which was nice. I liked how he had all the damage calcs on paper in front of him that he'd done before, which was great. And he recognised the fact that Typhlosion could sweep. And kind of played for that, which was really good. Like we were talking about planning ahead, so he definitely did that. There was the little bit at the beginning where he ice beamed the Druddigan and then went for flash cannon because he'd not noticed it was a crit. And then after he'd clicked it, he was like, "Dang it was a crit!" And so there was that extra turn where Druddigan was in when it maybe didn't need to be. But if he just kind of paid attention a tiny bit more, then I think he could definitely go a long way.
Yeah, definitely. But unlike other people, Chi definitely saw his win condition and went for it. And is that all you have to say about Chi? I think that is, So
I think so.
Is it not? It is. So
I like it. I think he's got a lot of potential. I like his team, and I was impressed. I just want him to kind of just pull back a little bit from overthinking and just calm.
Definitely agreed.
Make the notes.
Definitely agreed, twinsies. But
twinsies.
Let's move on to the 7th spot. I'm so sorry. I have Jordan. Really sad.
0 to 0.
Yeah, I had him last week. I had him on my number 1 spot, and he sadly on my list dropped down to the 7th spot, which I'm really sorry for. But there were just some things that were bad. Honestly, they were really bad. But first thing I want to go in depth is his team building. He brought his scissor, and I did not agree with that whatsoever, because his opponent had Typhlosion, which of course is a fire type, of course, just that. Zapdos, he had also Zapdos who can run Heat Wave, who resists Bug and Steel. Like Zapdos resists both stabs, and if even a defensive Zapdos can take on a scissor quite nicely. As well as Empoleon. Empoleon was on there as well. And as well, Empoleon resists Scissor stabs. And I just did not see a reason to bring Scissor. And I don't know why he brought it. Jordan, let me know why you brought the Scissor. I don't see a reason why you would ever bring a Scissor to this match. But instead of my suggestion, instead of bringing Scissor, I mean, he had a Heatran on his draft, as far as I know. And he didn't bring Heatran. I mean, of course, the Mega Venusaur and the Typhlosion both potentially could run Earthquake. but you have to take that risk. I mean, that's what Air Balloon is there for. That's why you can run that berry. I don't know what it's called, but there's a berry who weakens earth ground moves. There's just so many things you can do with Heatran, and it could have taken on your opponent's team much better. You could have had safer rocks, you could have had more offensive pressure, you could have had Will-O-Wisp pressure, you could have had everything, honestly. And you had a resistance, like an immunity even. You had an immunity to the Typhlosion.
It would have been a much better answer, wouldn't it?
Definitely. Also, something else regarding his fire weakness. Jordan brought the Sap Sipper Miltank, which, of course, if you see a Mega Venusaur, you don't want to get stalled out by Giga Drain, Synthesis, not Synthesis, but Leech Seed. You don't want to get stalled out by that. I mean, Sap Sipper was kind of a good play, kind of, but with the huge fire weakness Jordan had, definitely this thick fat Miltank would have been the much better choice, since he had on his team things that could take on Venusaur rather easily, and I just did not get why he brought Thick Fat, why he did bring Sap Sipper instead of Thick Fat, and he just generally had to be better prepared for the Typhlosion. And looking at Jordan's team, the Amazing Chi had to bring fire coverage on.
He was always going to bring it.
He had to bring it, and Thick Fat Miltank would have been a safe switch into a lot of things. Honestly, would have been a safe switch into so many things, but because he had Sap Sipper, the Miltank died relatively early, and of course it would have been kind of a stall game with Miltank, but it would have potentially meant that he won, potentially. But yeah, that's my thing about his team building. And something else I want to say is about his Sylveon play. He had Psyshock on the Sylveon for the Mega Venusaur, which was amazing preparation, honestly. But you want to catch a Mega Venusaur on the switch in with the Psyshock, or you want to EV your Sylveon so that it outspeeds a Mega Venusaur, because either a Sludge Bomb or a Power Whip, like Amazing Chi brought Power Whip, that did so much damage. Both Sludge Bomb and Power Whip would have done so much damage, and it just wasn't worth the risk. I mean, there was this situation where he stayed in with Sylveon against the Mega Venusaur going for Psyshock, but Power Whip wasn't easy to KO. Probably, depending on his spread, the Sludge Bomb would have been a 2 KO. And that was just all around a bad play, in my opinion. He needed Sylveon much more healthier, because, of course, Sylveon can kind of take on a Typhlosion, and just I did not agree with that. He definitely needed a healthy Sylveon to win the game, but he just let it be weakened way too much, in my honest opinion. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Jordinez and my number 7 spot. I hope, Jordan, you're watching this and you're taking notes, honestly. I hope you're taking notes. But yeah, that's my 7th spot, being Jordinez. And that's all I have to say about him. What is your 7th spot?
My 7th spot is Carter and the Chicago Cup Chew.
Oh, is it?
Oh, it is. Is it not? Yeah, it is. I quite liked the way that Carter played. He started off the game pretty well, and his team preparation was pretty good as well. I liked that he had made sure that his Rotom would outspeed the other Rotom, which was nice. They also had an awful lot of problems with battling, which meant that his Gardevoir didn't have Pixelate and was Mega at the beginning of the battle. It had Trace instead. Which, I mean, could have made a difference, but it didn't in the end. But I think the game would have been slightly different, but probably still in Carter's favour, obviously. He didn't. Yeah, I think it was just that, unfortunately, his opponent helped him to get the momentum towards the later part of the game. So, because the screens We've talked about this.
I
feel like we've talked about this before. So he was playing against a Gardevoir with screens, and the screens were up, and then his opponent missed the opportunity to set them up again, and then he got a crit on the Gardevoir with the Shadow Sneak with the Spiritomb, which meant it went down without the chance to set up screens again. And then there was another crit with the Dragon Claw, and then Donphan choice banded itself into knockoff. And I think all of those things helped to swing the momentum in Carter's favour. But I do think that his preparation for the match and everything was good enough there to help him to win. Mm-hmm. But I I mean, he's 1-1 as well, so hopefully he can go on and continue to build on this momentum and stuff. But the reason that he's slightly above Charlie is just that I slightly like his draft a little bit more, and he is a little bit calmer when he plays, but there's not much between those two at all in my mind.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to see how things play out. But he was a little bit fortunate, but he did play well. He got rid of rocks with Hitmonchan at the beginning, which was important, but the rocks did come back. But I don't have an awful lot to say about Carter. I'm just hoping that he can continue to build on this momentum, because he's definitely got a draft that can work for him.
Yeah, he has a powerful draft, just as well as Juan. He has to learn how to use his draft properly, honestly. But that brings us, I think, if that's it, that brings us to the next spot, being number 6. We're already number 6, halfway through.
Yeah, we're already number 6, and my number 6 is Jordinez.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Tell me more about it.
I don't think this is why I said mine first, because I don't really think I've got that much more to add to what you said.
I covered it perfectly.
You kind of did call it perfectly. You know, why Scissor? Mm-hmm. Why not Heatran? It completely overlooked Typhlosion. He let his Miltank go down super early. he let Sylveon take too much damage, so that it wasn't able to help him out at the end. There was a point in time where potentially he could have brought Scissor in and bullet punched, just so that the Typhlosion had taken more damage, and therefore Eruption would have done less on his incoming Sylveon, I think. I'm not sure that would have made a huge difference, to be honest. And the other thing I kind of did sort of slightly think about was the fact that he lost Druddigon very early, and it was assault vested.
Definitely.
And it had Earthquake. Mm-hmm. So, there's a potential there for him to sort of maybe utilise that a little bit more, seeing the Typhlosion on the other team. But the reason that I've got Jordan slightly higher on my list than you have, I suppose, is because he did so well week 1.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that just one loss, one win meant that he needed to drastically plummet to the depths of the table. And
I'm sorry.
I know. And I actually really like his draft. I think he's got an excellent draft.
Definitely.
And it was just an unfortunate game. Jordan, you need to make sure you play for the long game. I felt he played a little bit turn by turn. He should have seen the problems that Typhlosion were going to cause him, and the fact that he needed to keep Sylveon at high health and stuff to be able to deal with it. You've got to look ahead a little bit more, maybe.
Prepare for the late game and all, but yeah.
I'm completely convinced that he's going to be able to do more in the future. Absolutely.
Jordan knows how to play properly. He
needs to learn how to plan.
Yeah, better, more effectively plan for the late game, plan for every situation that could potentially happen.
And even if you think something's not going to come, even though, I can't see how that could ever not come, but even if you think it's not, you've got to kind of at least pay it some kind of lip service and sort of plan something for everything.
What kind of service? This is me the problem with Mia Beg because she's using words I never even heard.
Lip service is just this is not an English lesson, Enzo. I'll tell you later. Okay. When you pay something lip service, you kind of acknowledge it, even if it's just slightly. So you talk to somebody nasty. Even if you don't like them at work, you're paying them lip service.
That sounds nasty and sexual. But I think that's all. Yeah, that's all for Jordinez.
Indeed.
And let's move on to my 7th spot, as you
No,
interrupted. 6. God damn it. I looked at my list and it was Jordinez. But back to number 6. I have on 6th spot, I have Jordinez's opponent being Chi. The amazing Chi Charlie. Chi Charlie. We're gonna call him Chi Charlie.
Chi Charlie. He's gonna hate us.
No.
No.
He seems like a nice guy. He could never hate me. Maybe you, but not me. But whatever. Some things. He played his Typhlosion very, very well. And he saw the opportunity to sweep and went for it. I mean, even after Rock's damage, the Eruption still did about 100% base damage, I think. And that's still enough. That's still enough to sweep a team and just go for it. I mean, he saw the opportunity, went for it, and won the game. Easy as that. But...
Easy as that.
Easy as that.
Listen, everyone, that's all you need to do to win.
I mean, take notes. I finished 2nd in the TPU. But something I have to criticize, my dear. He on the screen when he was on the battle, on the screen popped up. He mischanted the Mega Venusaur, I think. Oh no, not the Mega Venusaur. I think the Empoleon. There was a situation, a speed tie with Empoleon and Sylveon, and he mischanted the Empoleon apparently, and it happened to be a speed tie with Sylveon, and that should never happen. I mean, mischanting is just something you have to prevent. I think he's chanting for himself even, and you have to just chant a lot more carefully. I mean, that it didn't cost you much. It just meant that your Empoleon was dead at that point, but nothing too bad happened, thankfully, but you just have to pay a lot more attention to chanting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a speed tie should never happen. You should never risk a speed tie, in my honest opinion. And if you chant it correctly, Empoleon would have lived and potentially took on the Weavile and stuff like that. And also something else, as you already mentioned, he didn't realize that the Ice Beam was a crit on the Draudigon, so he went for Flash Cannon, which was a bad play in my opinion. In my opinion, he should have either gone for another Ice Beam, a safe Ice Beam, or a Scald even.
Yeah.
I know the Scald would have been resisted, but there was a chance to burn, and even if he switched out like he predicted, burning something would have been nice, would have been really, really nice. And just, I did not understand the Flash Cannon play at all. And just take notes, as Beck said, take notes. You have to realize that some certain things are crits, that your opponent has certain items, just things like that. Simple as that. Yeah, that's all I have to say about Chi, the Charlie Chi. And let's move on, I guess, to the 5th spot, being E-Storm on my list. And again, I don't know what actually happened, but Electricstorm, what?
You what, bruh?
You what, bruh? Come at me,
He's number 5 on my list as well, so we can...
Oh, is he? Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Beck. But...
You will be.
We... What? We both agreed that we're not gonna judge his battle either, because there was no battle. I mean, at least on his side. The battle happened, but he did not upload it for whatever reason. And from what we saw from Travistey's side, E-Storm played a solid game again, and that's why he's 5th spot. But we just cannot judge certain things because we don't have his explanation. We just had his team builder, I think. I think his team builder went up.
Okay, I didn't see that either.
That
doesn't mean that it wasn't there. It just means that I may have just missed it.
Yeah, or maybe I'm making things up. I don't even know.
Yeah, probably.
But
no, it would be nice. Like I said before with Lacen as well, it would be nice to see, the thought process behind things. So, why did he switch in his Tauros to a Poison Jab from Nidoqueen, which made it, and it took a lot of damage when it had a very injured Dragagi in the back. And then the one thing I really wanted to understand is when Infernape went down to the Sableye, because it was trying to set up, why did Mega Voltaria come in and then disappear and be replaced by Salamence?
I don't know, probably baiting a certain move. Baiting a certain move? I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe, but it was hit with Icy Wind for huge damage, and
yeah, we need explanation, guys. We need explanation. For these kind of fights.
I need that closure.
Yeah, definitely. Especially Beck. She needs explanation more than I do. But yeah.
Excuse me, what is you insinuating by that?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Well, that's the kind of thing that I really love as well about watching these battles and being part of the PPL is listening to people's ideas and thoughts and what they plan, and
so you can
and when it's missing, it's like you're kind of just second guessing, and I'm floating in the wind and I don't like it.
You're floating. Oh gosh, all these English sayings, and I'm completely lost here.
I'm sorry, did it go down the trousers?
It went down the trousers, my dear. But I think that's all with the 5th spot. As I said, upload your freaking battle, guys. Let's move on to my...
If you wouldn't mind awfully.
Yeah.
Would you kindly upload your
Would you kindly? Oh god. But yeah, let's move on to the 4th spot, being Travistey on mine. Do I have something written down? I do not. God damn it. My preparation is on point. But Travistey, I saw his battle, of course, and from what I remember, he made some really nice plays with Lantern. Early game, I think Electricstorm had his Suicune in, and he made a double switch into his Lantern, predicting the Suicune, something like that. And then he had a free wall switch, and because E-Storm doesn't have anything that resists or that's immune to electric, he was able to get momentum by wall switch, and just throughout the game, Travistey gained so much momentum. And that was really nice. His team building was on point. He prepared moves on certain mons for certain mons on his opponent's team, and that was amazing. I love the idea from Icy Wind's Sableye, which you don't see.
Oh my goodness, Icy Wind Sableye. Can I just say I love that so much?
It looks amazing. I mean, it's a very nice preparation because as we all know, E-Storm has 3 dragons. 2 very speedy ones, especially Altaria and Salamence with the Dragon Dance. So Icy Wind was a perfect preparation in my opinion.
So nice.
And that's all I have to say about my 4th spot. What about you, Miss Buraki XY?
In my 4th place, I have got Kelly.
Oh no!
What? Oh no!
Bruh.
And the Maryland Torterrapins.
Torterrapins.
Now, you see, the reason that me and Enzo are probably going to disagree about Kelly a lot is because he likes bulk.
I do. I genuinely do.
You
do. I not?
Yeah, you do.
I know.
I like Kelly because he prepares really, really well for his team, the teams that he's going to face. He EVs, speed creeps where he can, and he has a plan in mind, and he goes for it. I liked that he brought Sandslash. That was cool. Mm-hmm. You don't see Sandslash enough, in my opinion.
Really?
But yeah. But he DV'd it so it could take 2 Brave Birds, which is nice, and Oko with a Rock Slide, which is cool beans, in my opinion.
Cool beans.
And then, he had lots of bulk, and then I've written Jirachi, Killer.
Killer, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the Killer. This is exactly what I've written. Jirachi, Killer, Attack, Scarf, Boom.
What the heck? What the back?
And at least everything was O-code or 2-hit KO'd by the Jirachi, which was cool. He did have a lot of hacks in his game. There was a lot of headbutt misses, but at the end of the day, it didn't make that much of a difference. But he was playing against an interesting team.
For sure.
And that match could have gone either way, for sure as well.
In the end, especially if Ruby would have played it a lot more carefully and would have thought late game more into the late game what could potentially happen. Ruby had definitely a chance to win this, but he didn't. He did not. And primarily it's because Kelly kept in his mind what he needed to have and what he needed to do, and he had all of his mons to do chip damage and to get everything down into range so that then Jirachi could just boom Boom,
Boom.
kill, boom.
boom, 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 all day long, and that's what happened in the match. So it went exactly the way that Kelly wanted it to go, and I was pleased with the way that he battled again this week. A little bit better than last week, because there was a lot of kind of just sacking things off last week and kind of playing around things in a kind of unnecessary way. But yeah. Well, it was a good, solid match. Solid really preparation. It could have gone either way, but he kept in his mind what he needed to do and did it.
Definitely.
And it's somebody that uses Jirachi to kill everything is always going to be a friend to me.
Oh, is it?
That little guy is so cute, right?
Is it? It really is.
Is he not?
Is it not? But that brings us to the third spot, and interestingly enough, I have Kelly on my third spot. But Can
I also just say something really quickly?
What?
What? I liked that Crobat had Super Fang.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes, and it was Infiltrator so that it could do stuff
through subs.
Yeah. I liked his preparation.
I mean, I think the Infiltrator was for Regigigas if you wanted to set up subs and burn turns from the slow start. I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, let's just move on to my third spot, and I'm gonna be talking a little bit more about Kelly. Some things I agree with, some things I do not agree with, again.
Because Enzo is Mr. Harsh.
I'm not harsh, I'm just thoughtful.
You're going to find while we do these power rankings that I am the positive one, and he is the negative one.
As Beck said earlier, bad cop, good cop.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, let's just go into my things about Kelly. Of course, as you already said, Beck, the match was relatively hexy, and because of hex, he lost Clefable. Turn 2 to a... I mean, Latios went for Psychic, and he got a Spadef drop, causing Clefable to go down to another Psychic, which it could have lived after leftovers, but I mean, hex happened, and he decided to father off Clefable relatively early, which I did not agree with.
No, I was very surprised by that as well. But he said that he just didn't feel like anybody else could take it.
Definitely, but I feel like even at that moment, judging from the damage, if you do some cogs, you would have known if it either was Specs or Scarfed. You would have known that, and just you could have went into something else like Jirachi or Magneton, who both resist Psychic.
That's a very good point.
That's just something I didn't agree with, sacking off Clefable relatively early. But yeah. Something else. Another misplay, which Kelly realized himself. He went for Cross Poison on the Keldeo with the Crobat instead of just straight up killing it with a Brave Bird. Which caused Crobat to go down because of that misplay. But I don't know. Kelly realized it being a misplay, and he knows he should have gone for Brave Bird. So I don't want to add too much to the salt. So yeah, you saw your mistake. You know what you're doing wrong, Kelly, and just work on that.
And it is a little bit difficult in the middle of the battle to always make the right choice. You've got to try your best, but sometimes these things happen.
Definitely. But yeah.
He was lucky that at the end of the day that was something that didn't particularly matter, and the fact that Clefable went down early, in the end, it still turned out okay.
Mm-hmm. But now to the positive things, which I want to point out. He took on Regigigas relatively way, not allowing it to get rid of the slow start. I mean, Ruby played the Regigigas rather poorly.
But he knew, you see, didn't he? Kelly knew he needed to get the Toxic on it and to stall it out. So he just did it,
Kelly knows how to handle certain types of mons, and he knew how to handle a Regigigas. He said it was a pain in the ass to prepare for, but he did it perfectly and just took on Regigigas relatively nicely, kill it relatively early, so he didn't have to worry about it anymore. So that was really nice. Nice preparation, Kelly. Props to you.
Whoop whoop.
And something else, his Magneton set was rather defensive with the Eviolite, and he played the Magneton extremely nice. I mean, a lot of things attacked the Magneton, but Magneton didn't take too much damage, and going for Tri-Attack, getting Hex, and mixing it up with Flash Cannon, the Magneton was really, really nicely played, and Ruby allowed Magneton to severely weaken his team. So the Magneton weakens Ruby's team, and basically after that Jirachi had a field day by just sweeping with Zen Headbutt. And so props to Magneton. But yeah, that's all.
He just did a really good job.
Yeah, Kelly knows how to win. He sees his win conditions and he goes for it. Kelly is an experienced player. He participated in the LBA. He knows how this format works, and yeah, he's just an all-around good battler. Seriously. But something else. I made a tweet about that. But if you don't want to miss Zen Headbutts, because he missed quite a few Zen Headbutts, he should use Hard Stamp Jirachi. And I mean, it has, I think, 20 less base power, but Hard Stamp has 30% to flinch, so it works like Iron Head. You don't miss it, and you have a higher chance to flinch. You see what I want to achieve with that?
Yeah, that's got Enzo written all over it.
Yeah, flinch your opponent to death. I mean,
with Heart Stamp.
I mean, because I'm so...
Flinch your opponent to death in a really cute way.
Yeah, that's me. That's totally me. Because
totally
I'm so flamboyant. But yeah, that's...
Just like fondue.
Fondue and my fonduras, because I'm Swiss. But
cheesy and hot.
I'll be cheesy and hot, definitely. But that's for our private conversations. God damn it, Spec, we're recording. But yeah, that's my number 3 spot, being Kelly. And let's move on to your number 3 spot, shall we not?
Shall we not? My number 3 spot is Troy.
Oh, is he?
He is.
Oh, just bring some light in why you put him in the 3rd spot.
Well, Troy... It's kind of difficult to talk about Troy because, again, he was the benefactor of a 6-zip forfeit, which is not his fault. And he said some stuff at the end of his video about how forfeiting is not the greatest thing in a draft league. So he is the first person to say that he would rather not have had the 6-0 and the win. And I do agree with him. In this case, it was the best thing to do, but you can't throw around forfeits willy-nilly. But he started off that game really well, you know? He made some good plays, and I think, would have continued probably to win that match. He put a lot of preparation into his team, and yeah, it was a solid performance, and it's just a shame that, we didn't get to see how it played out in the end. Yeah, I don't want to talk I feel like I don't want to talk too much about it because it was not a completed match, but there's definitely the potential there, and there was no... He's 2-0 in the league. He played well in that game. He built a decent team. Yeah, I couldn't, not move him up above people that perhaps didn't perform as well as they could have and stuff like that.
Definitely agreed. But... even though I do agree with you, I put Troy on the 2nd spot. And yeah, let's move on to 2nd spot, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Troy. Of course, the forfeit happened, as you already mentioned. But those few turns we got to see before the forfeit, Troy played extremely well.
He really, really, really did.
He I wouldn't say completely outplayed, but he completely outplayed Juan.
He was definitely on top of his game, wasn't he? Definitely. For that.
I think from the start, Troy had the control over the match, and Juan I always say Juan, and I feel like it's wrong, but Juan had a hard time coming back, and just having control over such an important match was definitely great for Troy, and yeah, not a lot of misplays happened. Troy knew how to play the game, and he saw I mean, yeah, he didn't really win. It was a forfeit, but he knew how to play to win, honestly. And even
again, like we've been saying about a lot of people, he had in mind what he needed to do, didn't he? And he was in the process of doing it.
That's the key to winning. That's really is. But something I just quickly want to mention. I don't want to talk about the battle any longer. Now about his team preparation. Just one thing I want to point out real quick is the Among Us preparation. He said he evaded like that the Raikou, even if the Raikou wants to set up sub, Among Us will always be able to break it, and that's amazing. That's amazing preparation. Props to you, Troy. Just keeping that in mind, that he might bring a rush. I mean, he brought the event Raikou, which always has a rush nature.
Yes.
And just always breaking Raikou sub if he wants to be a calm mindset. That was a really nice preparation, and I quite enjoyed that. And of course, Juan also prepared for the Among Us with the safety goggles, tornadoes, but that's another thing. And yeah, just amazing preparation on Troy's behalf.
Is it time for me to say what I've been waiting to say?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Because failing to prepare is preparing to fail.
Oh my god! MLG sounds...
And that's what people in the league, the next few people that we're talking about now, they're not going to fail because they prepare so well. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
So
I'm excited.
That brings you to your second spot.
Oh my gosh, Travistey.
Travistey. What do you have to say about Travistey?
I think he's amazing.
Oh, is he?
I honestly think that he is great.
Oh, tell me more about it.
I absolutely loved his team preparation. We've talked a little bit about him already. You have. I loved Icy Wind, Sableye. I thought that was amazing. To slow down those dragons as well. I like how he thought of that. That was really cool. Scarfed Kyurem. I can never say that. Kyurem. Yes, I did. Well, shush. Was great. Well, late game sweeper came through at the end there. I was just loving it. I put loving Icy Wind on the Sableye, Scarfed Kyurem for the win. As I was a big fan. But no, just generally, just completely in general, the Lantern was good. It's stopping Crocoon, Toxic, forcing the rest, and then he had Trick, didn't he, as well?
Mm-hmm. He did have Trick, preparing for the Crocoon. That was really nice.
Yeah, just generally, and like the defensive Nidoqueen to catch his opponent off guard, and with phasing and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Really cool. Yeah, really, really good. And he played really, really well. Just Sableye taking out the Infernape and then the Icy Wind on the Salamence, because...
I mean, his opponent allowed him to do that, like...
Yeah, he did, but he still played really well. You talked about him playing around with the Lantern early game and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he played really, really well. He got a fantastic win, and I just loved watching his battle.
Yeah, definitely. His battle was amazing.
And he prepared to win.
He did prepare to win. Okay.
He prepared to win, and he won.
As well...
Dude.
As well as the number one guy, where we both agree on Monotooi being on the first point.
This guy as well is incredible.
Oh, he is such a good battler.
Goodness. He is just amazing.
He definitely knows how to use his mons. I mean, he's playing Manaphy perfectly. He's really playing Manaphy perfectly. And Togetic is an amazing wall. I know Eviolite walls aren't as good in draft formats, but...
Because knockoff.
Yeah, because of knockoff is so common now, but... he knew how to play Togetic. It was so bulky. It took that +2 Leaf Storm like it was nothing.
Oh, like an absolute boss, and it just sat in there and stalled out the Superior with like a smile on its face.
And Togetic is so cute, so I definitely love seeing that.
I mean, in the combination, he knew that there was not going to be any hazard removal on the opponent's team. Mm-hmm. So just that, spikes, toxic spikes, rocks, and loads of initiative with switching, vault switching and stuff. Just was brilliant.
Mono definitely was the best game. His game was definitely the best one this week, in my honest opinion. He played perfectly. Like, not a single mistake, at least from what I saw. Perfect match, honestly. I don't have much to say about Monotooi because he played so perfectly. I don't have to criticize anything.
Oh my gosh.
What? Oh my gosh, is it surprising?
You're not even gonna say anything bad.
Oh my god, is that something surprising?
Yeah. Yeah, I also really like the fact that he's using berries too.
Definitely. That's what a lot of people need to use a lot more. If you have a 4-time weak Pokemon or just general Pokemon that can't take a super effective hit, put a berry on there. Put a berry on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you don't have much to say about him as either, do you?
Well, I mean, just the fact that I just thought he was great. His preparation, he took everything into account. He made sure that everything could do what it needed to do. He'd run the calcs, he'd done the practice. It was excellent. And then when it came to the match, he knew what he needed to do. He got his hazards up, and he just played impeccably, just so well.
And I definitely know what that meant, so impeccable.
Yeah, and I mean, you see, he noticed that Superior was probably scarfed, and you know, he paid attention to those wins, and at the end he made the safe plays in order to make sure that he won. You know, stalling out the Superior with Roost and all of that stuff.
Definitely impeccably. So.
Big high fives.
High five. Let's all high five Monotooi for this perfect match.
Because he got a 5-0.
Oh yeah, he did. Oh my god, really nice. But guys, oh gosh, these power ranks are extremely long. But if you're still here, props to you. These have been power rankings season week 2 for the PPL Division 2, and I hope you enjoyed. If you're still here, amazing. I think these have been going on for over an hour now, but you're probably only skipping to your part when we're talking about you anyway. So yeah.
And I apologise for how mean Enzo is, Jordan.
I'm not mean. I'm what? Oh, this is just unfortunate, but yeah. I had a lot of fun recording. It was so much more fun to record these than last week. What the heck?
The heck?
Never do that to me again, Beck. What the heck?
Hey, shh. Life happens sometimes. But no, we're back now.
Yeah, we are. Oh god, these power ranks are probably gonna be always so long because Beck is now here. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed these power ranks. If you agree with us, if you agree with what we said, let us know in the comments below. If you do not agree, just put your own rankings in the comment section down below. If you think we said something wrong about you or about somebody else, let us know what else we could have said, what else you thought was bad, what was good. Let us know, because
at the end of the day, this is just our opinions, right?
Of course.
And everybody disagrees, and everybody has their own opinions, and that's fine.
Oh god, this sound like what a teacher says.
Well, hello.
Oh, you are a teacher. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the week 2 power rankings. I hope you enjoyed, and have a nice day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.